Okay, in today's recipe, I just want to highlight how easy it is to get nice, flavourful, wholesome food. It can be on a budget, easy to make, and a lot of the time people think it takes complicated ingredients, but you can just grab stuff you got in the fridge, in the cupboard, and just make up as you go along and make the most wonderful meals. In terms of spices, I'm keeping it simple because a lot of people have different taste palettes. So I'm using some smoked paprika, some turmeric, some salt, pepper. I'm also using some Bisto gravy granules. There are lots of products on the market that people don't realise are accidentally vegan. There's loads of websites where you can actually check this out and find information, but they're great to have in staples in the cupboard just to help you make different meals, different variety of meals. We're just going to fry off the onions to start with. And you can use any oil that you fancy. Some people like coconut, whatever works best for you. And then we're just going to add the onions to the pan. And we're just going to cook those until they're slightly translucent. Because what we're trying to do is build up a base flavour to carry through the meal. What we're going to do now is add the garlic, building that base flavour to carry through the meal. And in regards to costs, this works out about £2 per portion. And the larger that you cook, the cheaper it gets, because you can buy ingredients in bulk, it works out a lot cheaper. So in here we've got the onions and the garlic, and we're going to add a bit of herbs and spices into this. So we've got a little thyme, fresh or dry is fine. And you can buy fresh thyme and just dry it yourself. Add a bit of turmeric, adds a bit of flavour and colour. And then some smoked paprika, you can get in all supermarkets. So now we're just toasting off the ingredients just to cook them through so the flavour carries through the meal. And just work with the ingredients you like the best. Right, you don't want the spices to burn, so you're just going to turn it on a slightly lower heat. I'm going to add a tiny bit of salt to the onions. So just play with your food and have fun with it. There's no need to feel restricted or you can't do this, you can't do that. Just have fun and enjoy what you're doing. Right, now we're going to chuck in the mushrooms. Any mushrooms will do, just go with what your favourites are. And these are great for adding vitamins, a little bit of protein, and also they're great for vitamin D. And then next we're going to add in vegan mince. Into this I'm going to add some peas. You can use frozen peas, tinned peas, fresh, whatever you fancy. And the mince is pretty much done. It's going to finish cooking in the oven anyhow. So now it's just a matter of combining all the ingredients together, and at this stage it's whatever you fancy: potatoes, carrots, swedes, parsnips. Right, what we're going to do now to add a bit of richness to the sauce, we're going to use some tomato puree. We're going to add a bit of tomato ketchup. A lot of people think it's just tomato ketchup, but it adds such richness and adds a bit of sweetness and depth to the meal. There's loads of accidentally vegan ingredients in the supermarket. This is Bisto, which is like a gravy granule. Sometimes I like to just sprinkle it in and just add a bit of base to the recipe. Keep an eye on the heat so you're not burning anything. Now to make this meal more filling, we're going to add some ready cooked lentils. Adds a nice bit of texture and flavour. Right, at this stage now, the mince doesn't take a lot of cooking, it's just a matter of browning it, getting some flavour in there. So now we're going to add the vegetable stock and just add a bit at a time. So I've got some parboiled carrots and potatoes. And the great thing about this, you can take vegetables that are left over from a roast, just chop them up, add them in. So this is a great pie for using leftovers also. Add a tiny bit of salt just to season, and just as you're going along, give it a taste so you know what you need if you want to tweak it. A bit of black pepper. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of vegan spread, vegan butter. I'm going to add a tiny bit more stock, and then we are good to go and get this into the pie. Okay, now we've got our mixture done, we're going to pop it into the pie dish, and you can put the pastry in the bottom, but we're going to do it nice and quick. Cheap and cheerful, we're just going to put it on the top. So we've got the pastry rolled. So first of all, we're going to spoon our mixture into our dish. Now we're going to put the pastry on top, and there's no set way of doing this, just have fun with it. And we're just going to pinch it around the bowl. Then take a knife and just take off the excess. And you can save that for another day, put it back in the fridge. And when this is cooking, you want a few little holes in there to allow the steam to escape. And once that's done, you just put it in the oven and cook it according to the instructions on the pastry packet, and you're good to go. And here we have it, 20 to 25 minutes in the oven, and you're just cooking till it's golden brown on top. In terms of sides, you can have broccoli, cauliflower, whatever you fancy, but there's so much veg inside, you can have it just by itself.